Welcome to our weekly show for the National Association of Independent Medical Practices. You can find us at NAIMP.org. NAIMP is an organization focused on helping independent medical practices become more successful by providing innovative discussions, networking with like-minded professionals, and opportunities for growth, education, and increased revenue. Check out our website today at naimp.org.
Hello, this is Shirley Cress-Dudley, and welcome to today's broadcast. It is my pleasure to introduce Chris Sawyer, the creator of Blue Ocean Performance Solutions. Chris Sawyer's experience over the last 10 years comprises every point of service in the post-acute medical spectrum in both operations and sales capacities. Over the last 2 years, he has also been at the forefront of change within healthcare, working with accountable care organizations, ACOs, both directly with primary care practices and as ACO executive leadership. This experience is what led Chris to create his own consulting firm, focused on helping primary care physicians who will be entering the ACO environment for the first time as a result of laws such as Medicare Access and Reauthorization Act, MACRA, of 2015. Chris believes that primary care physician success in an ACO environment requires supporting the physician and staff's ability to choose ACOs that are best for their medical practice. Blue Ocean Performance Solutions works directly with primary care practices to enhance revenue and improve performance in an ACO environment, while leveraging existing practice resources and bringing no additional technology. Well, I'm very excited today. Chris, I'm going to turn it over to you, and we look forward to hearing more.
Thank you, Shirley, and thank you for everyone who is viewing this presentation. I'd like to discuss a bit about MACRA and provide some high-level guidance to physicians and medical practices who will be experiencing changes brought about by this law within the next 5 to 6 months. Again, I'd like to give an overview of MACRA, which is the Medicare Access and CHIP Reauthorization Act of 2015, discuss a few changes that physicians will experience as a result of this new law, and provide some guidance and some recommendation for physicians and their staff that they can use when these changes reach home. What is MACRA? MACRA is a new federal legislation that has been brought about by Medicare's goal to have 90% of payments that they make to physicians around the country be linked to quality, and overall 50% of those payments they want to flow through alternative payment models such as accountable care organizations. Now, Medicare made the goal to do this. They set a deadline for themselves years ago to have it done by 2018. They're actually ahead of schedule. The performance year for MACRA is actually starting January 1, 2017. What does MACRA do? MACRA chips away at the existing fee-for-service healthcare delivery model, and it replaces it with pay-for-performance. Additionally, MACRA repeals the previously established sustainable growth rate that for many years the federal government was trying to enact and carry out in a way that would allow physicians the ability to ensure their fee schedules weren't too severely affected by change within the healthcare industry. And MACRA replaces the SGR, and what will happen is that between now and 2019, the fee schedules for Part B for all physicians around the country that bill Medicare will have 0.5% increases annually until those financial effects of MACRA actually begin in 2019. Again, financial effects of this program begin in 2019, but it's important to remember that the benchmark year for these changes is actually just 4 or 5 months away. That's why it is very, very important for physicians and their staff to understand what MACRA is and to actually be proactive in not just understanding it, but understanding how they can make changes at the practice level in order to negate any financial penalties. So MACRA creates two new tracks for physicians. And the best way to consider MACRA is to take a physician who hasn't experienced an alternative payment model up until now. So if we consider a physician who has never been part of an ACO, for example, that physician will have to choose between track 1, which is on the left, which is called the Merit-Based Incentive Payment System. And what MIPS does is it takes all of those wonderful programs that we've had to learn over the last few years, PQRS, value-based modifier, meaningful use, and it rolls them into one track, okay? And that's what MIPS is. Now, it's important, a very interesting point with MIPS, is that the quality portion, or the PQRS, quality reporting system portion for quality measures, if you were to ask Medicare what those quality measures will be, they don't know yet. It hasn't been decided. But all of the talk within the MIPS, MACRA, ACO world is that these quality measures will be based on ACO measures that have been used for the last several years. So it's very interesting to think that even if a physician chooses not to join an ACO and perform under MIPS, which is track 1, they will still have to do the same ACO-related activities at the practice level, but they won't have any kind of outside support in doing so. They'll have to do everything themselves. Additionally, MIPS carries with it a bonus or penalty. So for 2019, fee schedules could either be increased by 4% or decreased by 4%. And that increase or decrease increases every year. So it actually places more and more financial risk or burden on the practice to perform. Now, if we look at track 2, which is alternative payment models, such as ACOs, everybody understands, I think, at this point in where we are with healthcare change and delivery, what an ACO basically is. But in terms of a financial effect for joining an ACO, there is no penalty under MACRA for physicians who join an ACO. There's actually a 5% bonus, a lump sum bonus, on fee schedules. But it's very important to note that on the right, in the red box, it states the alternative payment model path offers a 5% bonus for eligible APMs. The key word there is eligible. What that typically means is those ACOs that are part of a new ACO program with Medicare called the Next Generation ACO model. And under these models, ACOs are required to bear financial risk. So it's not just that there's reward anymore, there's also risk. Physicians who look at MACRA and decide I want to join an ACO under track 2 and go join an ACO, if they're not sure that that ACO is considered an eligible ACO by Medicare, then they may not get that 5% bonus. So it's very, very important to remember to ask that question if you're going to be joining an ACO as a result of MACRA. So what are the changes for physicians as a result of MACRA? Remember, all physicians that bill Medicare Part B will be graded based on the quality of care that they deliver now. This is no longer an option if a physician is signed up with Medicare to provide Medicare services. This is happening. It's been decided. And these grades will determine bonuses or penalties, Part B fee schedules, if a physician decides to perform under MIPS, which is track 1, and physicians who join an eligible alternative payment model or ACO will earn a 5% lump sum bonus under track 2. Physicians will no longer be able to sit on the sideline with regard to payment changes. I've talked to many, many physicians who over the years have sat on the sideline and said, I don't want to join an ACO, I don't believe that it's a good thing, this and that. That may not be entirely incorrect, but unfortunately at this time it has been decided by the federal government that everyone will be pushed into pay for performance and value-based care or suffer financial penalty. Successful practices are going to be those that take a proactive stance in addressing quality improvement at the practice level. It is not too difficult to learn these things, and And part of the reason I created Blue Ocean Performance Solutions is to be a support system for physicians who want to take a proactive stance, but may not understand how or how to put their first foot forward. Again, 2017 is the performance year that's going to determine 2019 reimbursement changes. And it's very important that physicians act now to understand how their practice could be affected by these changes. Don't wait to think about this stuff. Physicians' office managers and staff should begin educating themselves now. Successful practices, again, will be those that have a plan for their practice. You have to have a plan and you have to fly that plan. And that's what's going to lead to physician success. Our recommendation is to, in the short term, if this is all new to you, join an accountable care organization. Primary care physicians can join an accountable care organization or leave an accountable care organization once per year. It's very important to get your feet wet in this, and if this is entirely new to you, joining an ACO for the short term so that you can learn about these types of changes at the practice level with care delivery being performance-based, then you should be doing so that you can use the existing infrastructure in support of those ACOs, and you can learn about pay for performance for your fee-for-service populations, even if you decide later to leave the ACO and perform under MIPS on your own. This is my contact information. Again, my name is Chris Sawyer. I'm the creator of Blue Ocean Performance Solutions. Please feel free to give me a call at any time at the number listed on the screen, or send me an email at chris@blueocean-ps.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Great information, and it's coming fast. The deadlines are coming fast. We need to learn this information. So if you'd like, yes, if you'd like to go to the slides, then go to NAIMP.org. You can view all of the slides that Chris mentioned. Also see his phone number and email to get in contact with him for more information. It's all at NAIMP.org. You can also view us on the medical channel. You can subscribe to the channel, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple, and Android TV. So for more information, go to NAIMP.org. Thank you.
Check out our website today at naimp.org.